Energy vampires are people, organizations, and/or situations that drain your resources, be it emotional energy, money, or other forms of energy. That doesn't mean you chuck all relationships that don't feel balanced, but seeing them puts you in a better position to know what you're dealing with. If you're on the path of resilience after a setback, you're not in a position to allow them. Here are 8 situations that show potential energy vampires. I hope you don't mind that we start with you and your mind. Most of these you can see in yourself or others. Regardless, when you learn to spot them and pivot, you gain energy you need to heal and live your best life. Let's get into it. Energy vampire number 1, a fear-based narrative. Yes, that bad thing can happen, and it might. And when you create and focus on bad future scenarios that have little possibility of becoming reality, you've victimized yourself. Your mind can spin a fear-based narrative faster than you can blink. For example, while tying your shoes, a lace breaks. It's inconvenient for sure, but often our ego takes over, and soon the shoelace problem is pervasive. I'm in for a bad day, and might even be personally defining. This speculative, fear-based narrative steals energy and steals your capability to create vitality. Notice that your mind can speculate, but also how the narrative takes on permanence and pervasiveness, or can become personally defining. Martin Seligman, in his book Learned Optimism, identifies this pattern in those who suffer setbacks and stay stuck. He calls it an explanatory style, but it's essentially your narrative about the setback and its impact on your future. Since you need energy to bounce back after a setback, you can't afford to allow your mind to steal your energy with fear-based speculation, especially a narrative that makes a setback permanent, pervasive, or personally defining. Energy vampire 2, non-acceptance of what is. Setbacks and losses are no fun. They certainly were not what you preferred to happen. I'm not suggesting that we put on a happy face when that bad thing happens. What I'm saying is, accept what is, especially loss. We waste energy resisting what is. Your former spouse may have alienated your children because that's what toxic people do. And where you are is where you are. When you notice yourself resisting what is right now, it's wasted energy. When you start to lean into what is with eyes wide open, heart open, and feet moving, you're in acceptance. Energy vampire number 3, regret and unforgiveness. The mention of the word forgiveness can be triggering for some people. Let's keep it simple and effective. Let go of people and situations in your past. Carry forward only the learning. We can hold on to regret and hatred for people and situations when we think it can protect us. Imagine that instead of regret or hatred, what remained was wisdom and the power to act with wisdom. That person who did that bad thing, of course, protection is warranted. And when you've let go of regret and hatred, allowing only the wisdom to remain, you can act in power. Hatred and regret steal the energy you need to live a full life. Let them go to a higher power and harvest the learning, the wisdom needed to live a full life. Energy vampire number 4, concern for what you don't control. Letting go of what you don't directly control is wise and powerful. Of course, you're concerned about things you don't directly control. We all are. And there's power when you can let go of those things outside of your control and focus on your process, the things you can control. For example, it's no fun when others disparage you based on the lies of others. You can offer explanations, but beyond that, you don't control their narrative of you. Let it go. But what about my boss? Don't I control how he sees me? 100% no. Your boss is influenced by many things, so let go of what you can't control and do what is in your control with excellence. When you do, I guarantee you that you will feel a shift in energy. I experimented with this while selling home energy conversation products door to door. I hated the rejection and knew I didn't directly control it, so I started to focus on what I directly controlled. I set goals to knock on a certain number of doors each day. I decided to focus on my ability to sell and learned what I could about cold calling. What shocked me was that letting go of what I didn't control gave me happiness. I was able to enjoy the job more. And perhaps because I was so chill, I saw a 700% increase in sales in the first week of this focus experiment. Nice. But more importantly, it taught me about the power of focus and how to free up energy that is wasted on things I don't directly control. Energy vampire number 5, victim stories, poor me. Living in a victim story provides the emotional payoff of feeling innocent while stealing our power to create a different, better life. Manipulators use victim stories to get pity and provide a subtle way of asking you for resources without actually asking you for them. So, when you see victim stories in yourself, you're doing a normal thing, licking your wounds as you focus on how awful people and situations can be. And if you buy land in Pity City, making your victimhood a part of your identity, you lose energy for vitality in exchange for feeling innocent about the situation. When I see victim stories in others, it might be manipulation or might be them being human. I led a team that loved to complain. Oh, life is so awful for us. I learned to manage this by allowing complaints for 10 minutes of our team meetings, no more. I wrote down the complaints as they shared them to make sure we had an action for each complaint. If they repeated a complaint, I shut it down immediately. Limiting the time to complain, writing it down, and focusing on actions to resolve the complaint gave this team the energy they lacked when they were living in Pity City. By the way, most of their complaints were not actionable. Writing these down acknowledged the complaint, and I asked the team to let go of what they couldn't directly influence. Yes, letting go of what you don't directly control is a wise energy practice. Energy vampire number 6, low accountability. Oh, the lengths people go to avoid owning problems. When you see in yourself or others accountability avoidance, it steals energy from creating something better. When there's a problem, breakdown, or missed expectation, low accountability people do one of 5 things. 1, they deny, 2, diminish, and 3, they deceive. 4, they try to shift the issue's focus through misdirection or accusing you. And 5, they confuse or cloud it. This steals energy we could be using to learn and pivot. I studied a high-performing team that mastered accountability. When there was a problem, they spoke to the right people to understand why we had a gap, then pivoted to actions to solve it. Easy. Direct. Healthy people who owned their role in breakdowns quickly found the cause and solution, and focused on fixing it rather than playing accountability games. That leads us to the next energy vampire. Energy vampire number 7, drama creators. Some people create drama wherever they go, and do their best to pull you into it. I was with a partner who would pick fights, and then expect me to side with her and hate them. Huh? I investigated a few of these conflicts and saw clearly her role in creating the conflict. A relationship based on hating who she hated wasn't destined to last long. This partner wasn't really interested in resolving conflicts, what I did professionally, but was very interested in feeling validated in her narrative about others. Yikes. When you see drama, conflict creators go out of their way to create problems. It is an energy vampire waiting to steal your peace. That brings us to the final energy vampire, and that's energy vampire number 8, failing to say no. I love helping others. I love being part of the solution. I love being there for others, putting on my Superman cape and finding a way to help. As an empath, when someone is hurting, I feel it and want to help. And because of this, I end up saying yes too often to requests. And my yes becomes an energy vampire. The yes can run deeper, such as with those who seek approval. I don't like to see the disappointment on someone's face when I'm unable to say yes to a request. And I've learned how good it feels to say no to requests because my energy is worth protecting. When you come to love and respect yourself, you're much more likely to say no to things that don't serve your higher interests, even though your no might unleash a negative reaction. And when others know that you are careful in responding to requests, they learn to trust you more. And trust might be the most important energy resource you can have with others, so protect trust in all your actions. Thanks for joining us today at the Change Capability Institute.